This week, we bring you some exciting updates in our news video. Whether it's the upcoming Five Nights at Freddy's movie, the latest news from the Avengers, or a bunch of info about Planet of the Apes 4, this video is sure to please every movie buff. In 2025, Disney is going to release two Avengers movies, the Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. For the latter, the responsible parties have announced the signing of the relevant screenwriter this week, and he is no stranger to the MCU. The talk is of Michael Waldron, who is in charge of writing the Loki series and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So, he's actually a perfect choice for the sixth Avengers movie. After all, he kicked off the multiverse saga by introducing the MCU series about Thor's adoptive brother, while also teasing the new supervillain, Kang the Conqueror. For the film's predecessors, Avengers the Kang Dynasty, Shang-Chi, and The Legend of the Ten Rings, creator Destin Daniel Cretton has already been confirmed as director. For the sequel, however, this occupation is still unclear. The task is likely to be challenging either way, since it will most likely follow the Secret Wars comics closely. There, the different universes of the Marvel franchise collide, and their many different heroes have to face off against each other. In the meantime, the villain Dr. Doom will take charge and make life extremely difficult for the superheroes. Disney is unlikely to be in a big hurry after the screenwriter signing. After all, Avengers Secret War won't be released for another 3 years on November 7, 2025. Dune was a real highlight of recent science fiction film history. The adaptation of Frank Herbert's series of novels of the same name will get the appropriate sequel next year on November 17. However, not only a cinematic sequel is in the pipeline, Legendary Television is also working on the HBO series Dune, the Sisterhood, and as Deadline reports, there are first updates on the two leading actresses. British Chernobyl actress Emily Watson is joining the cast along with Shirley Henderson, who made an appearance in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. For instance, the series is to be set 10,000 years before the events of the movie series and will focus on the two sisters, Valya and Tula. They are part of the Harkonnen, and they later found a sisterhood that eventually develops into the Bene Gesserit, who are important in the films and books. Strictly speaking, the series is not based on the series of novels by Frank Herbert either, but on the 2012 work Sisterhood of Dune by Kevin J. Anderson and Brian Herbert, the son of the Dune creator. In fact, the series has been in the planning stages for several years, but never got past the early production time for a long time. The first two episodes will be directed by Chernobyl director Johan Renck. When exactly the series will debut on HBO is currently unknown, but we will keep you posted. The people responsible for the upcoming Planet of the Apes 4 remained quiet for a long time, and in the meantime, there was even the impression that the movie could be put on hold. Now, after the news about the allegedly very impressive script a few weeks ago, the production seems to be finally moving forward again. Not only did 20th Century Studios announce the official title, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, they also released a first image and a short description of the cast. The film marks the beginning of a new saga that takes place a few years after War for the Planet of the Apes. In the image, you can see an ape riding a horse in a post-apocalyptic world. Nature seems to have fought its way back as it covers the gigantic skyscrapers and causes waterfalls to form where there used to be roads. At first glance, the scenery even reminds us a little of The Last of Us, where the series of the same name is supposed to be released in the near future. On the acting team, the two young stars, Owen Teague and Freya Allan, have been cast. While Teague is known from It and this year's horror film, Gone in the Night, 21-year-old Allan has become famous as Geralt's adopted daughter Ciri in the Witcher series. It is being speculated that Teague will take on the role of Caesar's son, Cornelius, while Freya Allan could play a human part, probably that of the adult Nova. Anticipation is high after insiders claim to have discovered that the screenplay is expected to be a very pleasant surprise. We are looking forward to the film, which will be directed by Wes Ball. An exact release date has not been set yet, but the movie is expected to hit theaters in 2024. Five Nights at Freddy's originally debuted 8 years ago as a simple point-and-click game from the horror genre. In several episodes, you uncover the creepy story of the animatronics. These are animal-like figures that you often see in amusement parks and that you can usually control remotely. These haunt the protagonist in the game and turn a night shift into a nightmare. It has been known for a while now that there are plans to adapt the very popular game to the big screen. The good news about the commitment of a director was brought by horror legend Jason Blum, the owner of Blumhouse Productions. The horror flick will be directed by Emma Tammy, who has already directed movies such as The Wind and Into the Dark: Blood Moon. In close cooperation with Five Nights at Freddy's creator Scott Cawthon and Jason Blum, a proper horror film is now to be made. By the way, the animatronics will be designed by Jim Henson's Creature Shop, the creator of the famous Muppets, among others. It will be exciting to see how closely the movie will be based on the 8 games, of which the last one was released in 2021. Shooting is scheduled to start in February of 2023, though details regarding the plot have not been leaked yet. In theory, the movie could either be inspired by one of the numerous games or take its own approach with the animatronics. In any case, we are eagerly awaiting the outcome. In December of 2020, Marvel announced an upcoming Armor Wars series as part of the MCU. September 2022 was announced as the kickoff date. However, the production went differently from what was expected. As announced a couple of days ago, Disney has now completely dropped the series from its lineup. As told by The Hollywood Reporter, the responsible parties have decided on a serious change of plans for Armor Wars. As a result, the project will now be redeveloped as a feature film instead of a series. The decision was taken while working on the story, which is apparently better told in a feature film. Also, there is no longer any talk of a September 2022 release date. Instead, the as-yet untitled movie will now be released on February 14th, 2025. So far, the cast consists of Don Cheadle as the main character, Colonel James Rhodes, alias War Machine, while Making History star Yasir Lester is still working on the script. It is completely unknown who will fill the position of director, but the search for one will certainly keep going at full speed. What are your thoughts on the idea of telling the story in a movie as opposed to a series? Which format would you like more for the MCU project? Feel free to let us know your opinion in the comments. Keanu Reeves is without a doubt one of the biggest stars in Hollywood. Above all, thanks to his role as John Wick in the film series of the same name, he has been able to inspire an audience of millions in recent years. That the 58-year-old has also mastered the art of film directing is something he might prove in his upcoming project, BRZRKR. It is said that the Matrix actor is highly interested in the director's job. This would certainly not be a crazy idea, since Reeves is also one of the creators of the comic series BRZRKR, which was developed in collaboration with Matt Kindt and Ron Garney. The story is about the demigod B, who has been doomed to live a life full of violence as an immortal warrior for thousands of years. This really stresses out the main character, so he decides to do some good and is recruited by the US government as a capable fighter. In addition, he is promised that after all these years, he will finally find out what exactly his fate is all about. The script by Mattson Tomlin has been finalized in the meantime, and so the shooting is not too far away either. That's precisely why the question of the director's occupation comes up. Most recently, Reeves stated in an interview with Collider that there was a 33% chance he himself would take on both the directing duties and the lead role. Before making this important decision, however, he would need to read the script first, as he emphasized in the interview. Could this mean that there are already 2 other promising candidates on the short list? No personal matters have yet been confirmed by those behind the project, so it is entirely possible that Reeves himself will be the director. The John Wick actor made his first attempt at directing in 2013 with the film Man of Tai Chi, but the reactions were rather muted. We will have to wait a bit longer for more reliable information, but we do expect an announcement before the end of the year. Alright, now you're up to date. In case you're looking for more Marvel content, we highly recommend our new original for Captain America 4: New World Order. Of course, the new trailer for Black